secondary school.
Yeah.
But that one changed shortly, and we are domiciled in primary sections. So that still means that the teachers that were employed there are few. You find a school with almost 2,000 students in both grade 8 and 7, but they have close to 15 teachers. So, and then these teachers also were trained on specific subjects. You find a teacher who can only teach English literature.
Yeah.
You find a teacher who can only teach mathematics and maybe chemistry. But you want this teacher to go in a classroom and teach the other learning areas. So there are still a number of gaps that remain unanswered, and we really plead with the ministry so that they may fight further, so that we have the gap bridge and we have good implementation of the CBE in the country.
Okay, so this question came just after the realization on being that the teachers are still very few, and being that these teachers are the instructors of these students within the school during their time within the school. What are some of the challenges that you as teachers, you or instructors, you are undergoing?
So there are a number of challenges in CBC implementation. Being the first port, there is a bigger gap that has not been bridged.
Yes.
A number of them are having teachers trained on specific subjects and pushing them again to teach
other subjects,
learning areas
yeah.
they are not well equipped with, having that they did not train on them while in university. So that is a major challenge that we have.
Yes.
Another one is employing teachers on internship program. You know, the ministry, ever since education ministry has never has a program of internship. Teachers were never on internship.
Okay.
After in campus, you proceed to a teaching practice where you want really to test if you are really trained as a teacher, and you test on students learning in schools, in secondary school. But then this one came so abruptly that the government diverted it into a program of internship. When you give teachers quality services, then they will also give quality services as teachers. But when you employ them as interns and then still abuse the order that internship should only run, if you go to labor issues and the rest, labor laws and statutes, the program for internship ran for only 1 year.
Okay.
But here, the ministry has rubbished it, and I even have this program going for 2 years now. So they renew the program against the labor laws. So that is also a standing challenge that is there. Number two, you know, there is something that we really need to do as a country that is still lacking. That is bringing the community together, creating awareness, and teaching teachers, teaching students to be ready to accept, teaching parents. Now parents are not aware of the CBC.
Actually.
Yeah, sure, because most of the things have run back to the student.
Yes.
When the student have an assignment, they run back to their parents. Parents, maybe they were not even trained. Some of them cannot even read and write. So it's a gap that is still there up to this very moment, that we are really thriving to implement a curriculum that was not well factored in early enough, so that we'll have full combination. And I really think the government would have done this. If the CBC was supposed to take a good face, then they were supposed to start it at early ages. Maybe grade 1 to grade 6, fully in primary school. Then you leave that grade to pass through that system until you realize, doing a test, then you have the product test is positive, and we accept that, the curriculum. But this one came so abruptly, students that were already trained maybe from class 1 to class 7, then you want to change them for new curriculum. So it's a bigger gap that is still remaining. Though the CBC would be better because it's centered on the student and student interest. But then the gaps that are still there, if they are not amended now, then it means we are still in darkness to achieve it.
Okay. Is there any initiative that has been created by the government through the ministry, maybe, or to see that the gaps are filled?
No, there is none. And I'm really perplexed that the ministry nowadays, the minister talk through newspaper, they pass information through TV without them appearing. So that also gives you that there is no honesty at all. So the ministry is not doing something right.
Okay.
So they really need to train teachers. Even in the university, if the CBC curriculum is changed,
Yes.
let them go back to where they source their labor.
Yeah.
Let them train people from there, so that when the labor comes out to serve the country, they serve on what they really know. They don't serve on hearsays, they don't serve on things that they are forced to do, they don't serve on things that they never intended to do. So that is a gap, and we really need them to push for further training of our teachers on the CBE curriculum, so that we achieve the dream that this country needs. Otherwise, we are going to mess for the next 10 years. Our students are going to be empty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely, it has been out there. I find that the JSS teachers in public schools from the government are maybe 2 or even 3, and that the students are very many. Of recent here, the JSS teachers were out there striking, and that some of the agreements ought to have been made prior to see that this system is well implemented. Up to now, is there any agreement that have been made concerning the same?
No, there is no agreement. Just as I said earlier, the ministry is communicating through newspaper.
Yes. The
minister has not come out clear and say that we are going to employ these teachers.
Yes.
Number 2, there is a ratio on how to serve teachers. It is always that 1 to 25. Maybe one instructor will instruct 25 students. That was there.
Yeah.
But here we have different learning areas. A student want to pick on some, because after grade 9, because we have grade 7, grade 8 and grade 9.
Yeah.
After grade 9 we are moving to STEMs. A student will choose based on interest of where he or she wants to opt to, maybe in his career or his or her career.
Yes, yes.
But then now that ratio is not yet failed. It's not yet failed. 1 on subject combination. You will find, like in my areas, teaching station, we are 2 with the same combination. But you want to further teach other learning areas,
which you may have not understood well.
Yes, because I was never trained on them. I was never trained to teach English literature. I was never trained to teach chemistry. I was never trained to teach. So I was typically, for my case, I'm a teacher of Swahili. I teach Swahili and I also teach history. But I have to come in and teach home science, have to come in and teach mathematics. I've come into, you see those gaps. So it means that we are not giving them the best. If we have to give them the best, the ministry has to employ more teachers and teachers that are trained on specific some learning areas, so that schools that are lacking teachers on some learning areas they need to do a database and factor in the issue of bringing teachers that are not yet in those respective stations. Yes.
There was an allegation that the ministry had started some workshops based on the CBC training on those teachers, maybe those that had not gone or undergone some trainings of some learning areas, and just abruptly it went off. People did not see where it reached actually. How about these workshops? Did they bring any impact?
Yeah, the workshops are there.
Yeah.
The workshops, I remember since we got into the CBC, we've had semester training teachers.
Okay.
We've had the retooling. You retool, you give the new concept, let them buy the gear, let them bridge the gap through these trainings. But there is a bigger challenge here again. We have a number of schools, we have a number of teachers. Like for the semester, we realized that there are people who have never gone for those trainings. Another time, you will find that there are other teachers that do not even go for retooling. So, if they can train all teachers, maybe they identify maybe during maybe a specific time, they pick these teachers and train them. And then they also make these teachers to be trainers of teachers, so that they are trained by people you know. You are trained by a teacher that is already serving there. They really accept it. So this is our thing, because we were the people who came in. So the government should factor in. You train the junior school teachers. You train them and train them and train them. They come back and train themselves, the people who have not gotten this. So that we have that uniformity. Yes. Because most of the trainers that we have in semester, we have in Lutuling, are secondary teachers. They are not going to teach this thing.
Yeah.
We are the people who are here. Why can't they bring these teachers on board? Let them train them, take them for seminars, train them to be trainers from the junior, so that we own the program, we own these things, so that we may accept them fully.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are also the same of the gap, some of the gaps that are still remaining unanswered. So we really are appealing with the ministry and the TSC to ensure that the TSC take the role of teachers management and the ministry take the roles of other development of the CBC.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Mwalimu. We are proceeding, ladies and gentlemen. This is a session of its own, just as we had made it in the public domain, that we are going to deeply see into the progress of the incoming curriculum, the CBC, nowadays known as CBE, one-on-one on the BTV, your home live TV. You can as well append your point of verdict, your question. In case you have got an inquiry, you can place it on that page, so that at least we check into the same, ladies and gentlemen. We are getting to the second session of the same, of which we shall be able to see that if now the teachers, according to them, they've got a good arrangement on how they're going to work out this area that they have been given to work on. Now, the government has also its part to do. We are going to check also on whether if the curriculum will just continue as it is currently without the government creating some involvements, and if at all there are other alternatives, we shall also be able to see into the same. Now, Mwalimu, let us just, for if somebody would ask a question on the impact that you teachers are having towards these students. Of course, each and every teacher, I always hear people out there saying that teaching is a call, and maybe you can be that passionate about it, and you teach. Now the teachers are on strike, the JSS teachers that is, and there's nothing that has been communicated officially. As you said, it's just on newspapers, on television, social media platforms. What are you looking forward as teachers of JSS up to now?
I would say one,
Yes.
we are on strike. The strike remains.
Yeah.
Just as say that a lot continue. So the strike is on because according to the labor laws, everybody is allowed to pick it. You're allowed to pick it because maybe you don't feel satisfied. Now in CBC is a rampant case of teachers that are served more than enough on internship and really need to be confirmed at P&P, where they can really serve. You know, we are given a stipend of 17,000. Now with other costs of other issues that they cut across, you will receive
NSSF,
what have you. You will receive a maximum of 16,000. Now 16,000, go back to the BOM services that we used to have. You'll realize that most of these teachers were even getting better than what they get here.
Yes.
Because they would receive more than what the government gives them now on internship. The first case that we took to court as junior school teachers was to give allow these teachers to have a stipend on internship of 25,000, because in other ministries, go to ICT, go to any other area for internship program that are run by the government. The internship are paid at 25,000. So we even still questioning why the TSC and the Minister of Education accepted that teachers be paid a stipend of 17,000. That was also against the law. Nonetheless, we also have a strike that is on. You know, you only strike when there is an issue. Na Waswahili wao wanasema mbiu gambo kiita kuna nini? Kuna jambo. Hilo jambo bado halijasuluhishwa. That issue has not been settled. So we are really pleading with the government. First is to confirm the junior school teachers. we are 26,000. They also recruited 20,000. So we are a total of 46. You know, when we join the strike, we fight together so that we better the services of all teachers.
Oh, yes.
So we don't even if they have to confirm the 26 first, we are still pleading with them. Let them confirm even the 20,000, because we are working the same station, we offer the same services, we need uniformity when it comes to payment and remuneration of our teachers.
Oh, yes.
So we are really pleading. Here we plead with the government. For the last, since the inception of this term, there are no teachers. Teachers are not in school because we are on strike. We are striking because the government subdivided and turned down the internship, the confirmation letters. They have not given any of us. So we are really pushing. And then they also integrated other teachers from primary that had a higher diploma. So we are serving the same premises, serving the same teachers, serving the same Kenyans, serving the same students. So we really need to have uniformity when it comes to payment of our salaries. So we are pleading with the government to confirm the 26,000 and additional 20,000, so that even if they proceed to have other teachers recruited, because there are still a number that is needed to serve here, they also confirm them, so that we may serve with the humility, we may serve our country Kenya and serve our students diligently without doing shoddy work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mwalimu. Now that since then, it's about 3 or so weeks since this strike was begun, and now that the government has not spoken anything substantive that can actually allow teachers to get back to work. Now that you say that the strike will not end soon, do you think the government is that quiet that you just get back to work even if they've not spoken anything?
No, you know, we've heard it said a number of times that the only thing that this government listens to is strike. We saw it with the doctors.
Yes.
And I really want to plead with the union that are serving teachers. Let us be honest. Let us not sleep with the government when at a time when we really need to fight for the betterment of our services.
Yes.
I'm urging Kupet, NAT, and any other union teachers, let them stick to what is stipulated in the Constitution, to what is the guideline of teachers when it comes to their services.
Yes.
So the strike is on, and it will go until we see the government implement and make their promise come to reality. We are approaching the end of the financial year, which will begin in July now. By the end of July, they say that they're going to confirm teachers. We are waiting to see. We will resume, if that is factored in, and resume to serve our students, because now there is a big calamity. If the students go to school without being taught, it will lead to a number of problems.
Actually.
Yeah, the parents, the student themselves. It is the student and the parents of this country that suffers when the teachers are not in school. And the country also suffers at large when the education, you know, there are key areas that when you mess with the whole country. You mess with the health and security and education, and agriculture, you are doomed. So the government really need to look into all these other ministries and do what is necessary so that the country can move and our country will have a name. You know, when we produce jokers, the country will run with the jokers.
Definitely. And
we'll be ruled by with the jokers. So before that happens, we really need to have maybe a good structure of how the government does its operations, so that we have a smooth running of the government programs and the services. Because, you know, it is from what we pay on our taxes that we get these services back. So we really need good and quality services so that the country will have a productive way ahead. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thank you, Mwalimu. There was a time that the CA's Machok said that the teachers, particularly the interns, he alleges that teachers of JSS are still interns, and that they need to take at least a couple of years so that they get to totality with the work that they should be doing. And that's why maybe the government hasn't implemented the CBAs that are alleged out there. What's your take about this?
No, the responses are simple.
Yes.
one, the ministry never had a program for internship in education.
Okay.
Who did Machogu ask to have that program back? Where did this one start from? Number two, there is no any other internship program that has gone beyond one year.
Yeah.
What we signed with the TAC was a program that goes for 1 year.
Yeah.
If that ended, anybody, even if you don't have senses, you will say that, oh, my time has ended. And I really need to question what is the ministry has for me going further. So you come back to the table and negotiate one more time.
Yeah.
Because already they engaged you on a program that has ended. Okay. The way forward is, if this program has ended, what is the way forward? The way forward is to have the teachers confirmed, because that is what the program says. So if they go against it, then it means that even the minister himself is confused on what he says. Yes.
Yes.
So it should just come out clear and typically tells the teachers that your program was signed for 1 year. There was never any deal for renewal. The renewal just came in when already the 1 year is ended.
Yes.
So when we are starting a new year that began January, so it means the government was supposed to honor their promise and confirm these teachers. Yeah. So if that is not done, then we are not mad to go to streets to demand for what we want as teachers. Yes.
This was associated with the issue that the National Treasury, through the Ministry of Education, hasn't anything in the Treasury, and that even those teachers that have served for some time in primary section were out to ask for at least a token based on different areas, but theirs was not also implemented. So does it mean that it has come this way since the Treasury does not have money, or what is it?
The Treasury can only go without money if you are not paying our taxes. But if the government collects taxes each and every day, where does the money go to? That is a question the ministry also need to answer. Number two, every financial year budget is done. The budget has everything, including the Ministry of Education has a budget that plans for a specific year. So we still ask them, you cannot budget for something you don't have. You budget with what you have. So if the government had the money to run for teachers within a specific period of 1 year on internship, then it means they also had plans extending after that 1 year. So if that is not done, then we have a confused ministry, we have a confused government, we are running under confusion. So that is what we really need to correct now, so that going further, we don't ask if the government has money or not.
Yes.
If the government has no money, then it means the programs are going to stop. Were they expecting teachers to be out of classroom after 1 year because they don't have money? They should have programmed all these things and factored them into the what? Into the budget. So that you have a smooth running government. So you don't have people striking from all corners of the country. When people strike, the services stop. When people strike, no tax collection. When people strike, there is a bigger mess. So this is something the government would have looked into earlier on, even before we landed to this mess that we have today.
Oh, yes. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's just but a session of its own, just as I said before, on BTV Kenya. We shall be able to get to a commercial break. Thereafter, we shall have it continued. we shall be able to get back to the last bit of a session, of course, from the commercial break. Ladies and gentlemen, this is BTV Kenya, your home live TV. As for now, it's the hot seat, the program on air. Hereby is our guest, of course, just as you have had the conversation there before. We are continuing and up to the last bit of it. Mwalimu, we are getting to the last bit of this program. And maybe as per your position in Suna West, or is it Suna West?
Suna West.
Suna West and Wasweta 2. Is it called Wasweta 2?
Yeah, sure, Wasweta 2.
Okay, as the chairperson, Junior Secondary Schools Association there, what are some of the programs that you have for the people there, or per your position, or anything that you are doing on the same?
I was raised in Wasweta 2 ward.
Yes.
I went and schooled there.
Mm-hmm.
And I proceeded to do my Form 4 secondary education.
Yes.
In Yateke.
Mm-hmm.
And later proceeded to Laikipia.
Mm-hmm.
So I've lived there.
Mm-hmm.
I was born and raised there, and I still live there today.
Mm-hmm.
And I've realized as a young youth,
Yeah.
there is a responsibility that each and every person has.
Mm-hmm.
As much as we will complain about the government,
Mm-hmm.
but then the individuals that form that government, who is me and you,
Mm-hmm.
has a responsibility.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to matters education,
Mm-hmm.
we really need to push, because a community that is empowered educationally is a community that prospers.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a number of gaps,
Mm-hmm.
and I went through school through well-wishers.
Mm-hmm.
After I lost my dad.
Mm-hmm.
It is my brother that took me to school.
Okay.
So there are a number of painful experiences that you go through as a student. And if you have this same heart, you would feel like things should change.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the motive that makes me feel that if there is somebody who has gone and has a qualification somewhere, then we really push this person, and this person really need to be supported.
Okay.
So this came to when the KCPE, after KCPE, I realized a number of cases were hanging, not only in Sona West, but a country at large. And there is a role that an individual really needed to do. We've supported students through looking for donors. We've supported students through going to schools and just talking to head principals and telling them, I have a case of a student who has really done well. That is a gap and a responsibility that you, even when you are here, you can do. It doesn't mean that you must have money, but you can take your time and walk by a school and say, no, this student was placed here. But going back and looking at the background, nobody can support. The schools would listen and support the student because the student is bright. So through that means itself, I've supported a number of students. There is a case of the best girl in Sona West that scored 406. It went on social media. Nobody even cared, and I felt hurted. And through friends, we supported this girl, and she's in her dream school. She was called to join Sironga Girls, and I took her there, and she is there. And not only that case, I also want to really say a big thank you to Galana Oil Company that also helped me to map the best students in Sona West. 4 of them are taken to national schools. So we are doing, even after when they are on the holidays, I have their files at home with me. There are over 20 students. They are there. We collaborated with the Waziri Masio Kwanyo, the CEC, in the county government of Migori.
Yes.
And through that initiative, I'm telling you, we've done so good. And I feel relieved having that there are students somewhere that are going to school through just a phone call away. So that is a gap that is still there. So that is what we really need to do. And I'm even urging all the partners, the best time to realize need is student is when there are those that have gone to school and there are those that have not gone to school. So such cases are really touching, and we really need to support them. Even Kanka School really helped us a lot, and we have students there. So that is the gap that is still there. On the other part, there's responsibility parents need to take. If you have a child that is prompting to go to school, you should also get prepared.
Definitely.
Yes, get prepared. Do what is you are able to do as a parent, so that they don't miss such gaps and such chances.
All right, thank you, Mwalimu. Maybe your last point of verdict as we come to the end of the program.
Now, being in the CBE,
yes,
I'm urging the government to partner with county government.
Okay.
At whatever level. We have practical lessons, especially pre-technical learning area. These are practical learning areas that really need to be done practically. Now we do them on hearsays and on theories. We have TVETs, polytechnics, and TTIs. We are really pleading with the county government. Let me start with Migori, where I come from. If we can partner with the Ministry of Education, and then we factor in the CBC curriculum into TVET and polytechnics, we are going to realize a lot.
Okay.
These schools do not have the capacity to even purchase a machine that does the showing. They don't have the capacity to buy those things. The only entity that now has the TVET programs is the county government. If the county government will partner with the Ministry of Education, we are going to help. For example, I wrote a proposal yet to take it to the county government, where we have Kababu Polytechnic in Suna West.
Yeah.
The neighboring schools there is Sagero Primary School, Koweno, Nyamome. If we can have these students doing their practical here for pre-technical, we are going to do so good for our students. So that is what I really need to plead with our county government, the Ministry of Education, if they can factor in, because all these programs run by the same government, despite that we have two levels, but they're done with the same government where we commit our taxes. So if they can come in and factor in, because at a time that we're going to wait for the ministry to build polytechnics or any other laboratory offering the same services that are done in the it's going to be a long way. It's something can be achieved after 2030 when we almost all of us are dead. So I really think that the government really need to do something so that the Ministry of Education partner with the county government through the Department of Education in the county government to factor in the issue of pre-technical learning area, and even if we can even have the dispensaries. We have sciences taught there, integrated science, how to even test malaria. This thing you cannot run in a school if you don't have a laboratory, but we have these services at the dispensaries. So we can partner with dispensary, and the nearby schools should be testing, so that at the end of the 3 years course of the CBC in the junior school, we already have people who have the brains. Otherwise, we may go back to the 844 without knowing. And it's going to be a great calamity that this country will not have to correct. So that is what I'm really pleading. Lastly, I really want to appreciate the BTV. It's a rare opportunity to call someone or to be on air and to present before you today. I want really to wish you all the best. Everything starts from a scratch, but one day you'll be somewhere like KBC, Citizen, and any other TV that is in this country that is doing a wonderful job as you do. So don't tire, don't give up. Push up to the corner so that you realize the dream. Because what you are doing here, maybe I would have not done it with the Citizen. I would have not done it with the Nation TV. But then I'm here to do it with your TV. So it's the best thing that we need to promote the local TVs, television, including the radio, so that all these issues that we are discussing may get some solution. Because when you have a problem, we say that stand up, shout out. So this is like we are standing up and shouting out of the problem and challenges that we have. So when this thing can be done locally here, they really believe we are going to have the best out of the rest when facing and bringing solution to the problem that we face as a country. So I really want to congratulate you. Thank you so much. And to all junior school teachers, it is just as Meguna say, it is viva. We are not tiring, luta continue until we are able to better the services of our teachers in junior school so that we have the best out of the rest as we serve this country.
All right, thank you, Malimo, for your coming and for your substantive information to the public through BTV Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to an end of the program, The Hot Seat, that is. Hereby is Ochieng Geoffrey Onyango. We welcome you again for our next session, which shall also begin just at exactly 7:00 p.m. until 9 p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, have a good night as we hope to see each other next time. Thank you.